You would like this, Tony. I was talking with a buddy of mine today who got a French press, but he doesn't know how to use it.
Oh.
Well, the bigger thing, too, is he doesn't have a proper coffee grinder.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, so I dropped off some coarse ground stuff for him, and I'm going to do a video chat with him Saturday morning and walk him through
it.
Yeah.
Nice.
I figured that's got to be the easiest way to do it, especially now.
Yep.
If it's a Zoom, just pull me in.
Yeah, me too. Actually, I got to send you guys the little invites so we can just hop on anytime, learning more about this shit.
Mm-hmm.
And I need to get Joe. It says when I press record, it says please record permission.
So go ahead, because I'm about to go live. I'm recording, so I could always send it to you if I have to.
Oh yeah, well it's a big file. It's a big file.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. If you want to just go, so you're recording it?
I'm recording it, but I'm trying to
Okay.
get up on Facebook Live now. Thanks, baby.
Oh, got it.
Walking Dead wine.
Nice.
Nice.
Oh, nice, man. Is it an IPA or it's a red?
No, it's a
Oh,
wine.
it's red wine. Duh.
It's the blood of zombies.
It's the blood of zombie.
It's zombie blood. Yeah,
I'm
Joe,
addicted to Klingon coffee. Don't make fun of me.
Klingon, you nerd.
I just had
My wife and I are Deep Space Nine fans. We got into this like during this whole lockdown thing. We had time. We're like, what the hell is this Klingon coffee?
Man.
Now we're totally into it.
I mean, it
Right on.
takes balls, Tony, to admit to liking Deep Space Nine.
You know,
Well, rightfully, he did say he likes the coffee.
Right,
I do
right.
like Deep Space Nine, and I even got sad on the last episode.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, you know, but what do I got? I mean, I'm a dad with two kids. My youngest turned 10 today.
Uh-huh.
You know, it's like,
Nice.
what do I already have like, or had a solid career. Like, I've got zero to prove.
Right.
Zero, you know?
Like, screw you guys. I'm going to drink my nerd coffee.
Yeah, I've got nothing. I've already got established, you know? It's like,
It's literally like you guys are talking Mad Libs because I don't understand any of it.
Actually, I will admit Deep Space Nine was, out of the Star Trek stuff, the ones that I actually liked the best. I'm not a huge Star Trek fan, but that was the one, if it was ever on, I'd sit and watch it.
Is that the one that had Jerry Ryan on it? No.
I think
No.
so. 7 of 9?
Yeah.
no, that's Voyager.
Oh, is that it?
I don't know. She was on the new Picard one, which I watched and thoroughly enjoyed.
Which one was Aaron
Wait,
Gray on?
Carey, are
That was
you geeky
Battlestar
that way?
Galactica.
Am I what?
You geeky that way with Star Trek?
Oh, dude, big time. Yeah. Not like I'm not like a Trekkie or anything, but I love the futuristic. I love sci-fi. I'm just a sci-fi guy. So broadly speaking.
You a Star Wars fan at least?
Oh, sure. Yeah. Yep. I've been playing this.
Tattoo on my arm. It's not finished.
Oh, right on.
Look at Steve.
I don't. The only thing that interested me growing up was Aaron Gray on Battlestar Galactica because she was so beautiful. That was it. And then I tapped out.
Sci-fi
This
babes.
is on the floor in my office.
Oh my gosh.
Nice.
The Dark Lord.
As nerdy and as like nitty gritty as Steve is, he's not a nerd. I can't believe it. You of all people, I thought would have been like the biggest geek.
No. Well, I do think Carey and we saw the first Star Wars at the Cinerama Dome, at the Chinese. That was opening weekend in 77, was it?
Wow.
78, the Star Wars. I
77.
thought somebody on Facebook said something about, and I thought it was you, Carey. Did you see Star Wars back in the day?
I did see the first movie. I had a friend that his sister worked at the local theater, and so we got to go in.
Was it L.A.?
No, this was in Minnesota.
Okay.
This
Then it
was in.
somebody else.
Are we recording? Yeah.
We're recording, yeah.
Okay, good.
Are we live?
I'm trying to get us live, but it's not booting.
Pour that coffee.
Boo.
I got to admit, though, the color of that looks great, Tony.
Nice.
So it's just Pete's. It's not even my own roast. This is just
Pete's is great.
Pete's dark, but it's got cloves in it,
Ooh.
a little bit of cinnamon, just a drop of nutmeg.
Wow.
Wow.
I got this really bitchin' conical burr grinder, the manual one. It was on I think it was an Indiegogo
Oh, okay.
thing.
Sure.
It's really cool. I can go grab it and show you guys if you want to see it, but it's a bitch. And then I have a French press that does like, you could do basically 4 cups at a time.
Ooh.
Okay. Yeah.
So
I think that's about the size of mine too.
big one. Yeah. And I usually let it roll for like, I'm up to like 12 minutes now for letting it hang. When you do more like that, when I bought the thing, they said you could let it ride for a long time. So I have a kettle, I run it up to 205 and then I pour it and let it steep for 12 minutes. It's crushing.
You don't get a burnt or acidic taste?
Nope. Nope.
Now, Carey, you more of a light roast or a dark roast guy?
I like dark roast. Right now, I'm actually kind of enjoying the medium roast thing because so we have a cake Keurig, and Cindy got some caribou coffee medium roast.
Okay.
That stuff is so good. Oh man, it's really good. Yeah. Anyway,
Medium,
but that's
mostly what? Central American, Costa Rican.
It just depends on how it's roasted.
Well,
Yeah.
it depends on how it's roasted, but some beans take to certain roasts more
okay.
so than others.
Right.
All right.
Right.
Like an Ethiopian might be light, like a pea berry they take to light, like a Kona Hawaiian beans, like don't want to be overdone, you know, but like some South American beans want to be, you know, you can go to 7 or 8 and like what they call the double crack. It double cracks and they get the oil and yeah.
wow, right on.
Have you tried the Laird Hamilton creamer, the turmeric? And it's really good.
My wife likes it.
I'll show you.
I just use just
Milk?
the half and half.
Yeah. I use whole milk, but the turmeric, it's got all kind of MCT oil, all that good stuff. But turmeric, and that lights me up. It's good.
I would be interested. You're already pretty lit up, broadly speaking. So
This is true.
I can imagine. I can imagine a little bit extra fuel.
Right.
Fired.
No, I've been with Steve when he's gone down like, you know, like 14 ounces of dark roast from Starbucks, and he gets like me. It actually is like a cigarette. It mellows him out a little bit.
Well, the darker the roast, the less caffeine.
The less
Right.
caffeine.
Yep.
So, but it's good flavor.
Yeah, but Tony, you're not going to be up all night with that coffee?
No.
Really?
This is my cigarette. This is for me to chill.
Wow.
I'll relax. My shoulders will drop. You know?
I know.
Same way.
I'll be dancing around the house in my underwear at
gets
3
it.
a.m.
Doesn't.
I'm with Joe. I'd be jitters.
Oh yeah. No,
But
there'd
you know
be no
what,
sleeping.
Steve? I've seen you mellow out after coffee, but then again, we were talking really heavy, and like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. I wasn't drinking.
no, it was just coffee.
Speaking of drinking,
Dude.
so you showed off the blood of the zombie. This is this beer from a brewery out here called Russian River Brewing, and
Yeah.
they make Pliny the Elder, right?
Oh yeah. Yep.
I want to show you the date on this, if you can see it.
Dude, is it so fresh?
Let's turn it over.
421. Oh my gosh! Wait.
So you can, if you're in California, and sorry for you guys who aren't, you can order from them, and they'll ship it the day they can it.
Oh wow.
So
Okay.
I literally drank a beer one day after it was canned, and it was
So
insanely good. I mean, it's
So
kind of
good.
spendy, but you get 24 of these,
Yeah.
tall 16-ounce ones, and they have this one, which is like a hoppy session beer, 4.5, and then
Okay.
there's another one that's a hazy IPA that is pretty delightful too. But you can also get Pliny online right now if you get on it. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, you'll get a 12-pack of pint bottles.
Man, that's cool.
Yeah. It's not cheap, but it's pretty special. So,
I've been into the hard kombucha lately.
oh yeah,
June Shine.
Cindy's gotten into that a little bit.
It's really good, man. June Shine.
What is kombucha,
Wait.
please?
Slow down. Hard kombucha.
Yes, it's like
Yeah, it's like
7
beer alcohol. Yeah,
it's like 7% gluten-free, probiotic, all the blah blah blah, healthy bullshit, whatever. But it's good.
And it
Is it
tastes
good?
sour.
It's delicious, man. There's some that's a little bit more, little sweeter, but it's really good. June Shine is down in San Diego, and that's all. It's literally like a brewery, but just a kombucha brewery, and it's delicious. It's delicious,
Wow.
really good. I like it,
Cool.
and it's like 7% alcohol, like an IPA.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tasty.
I haven't gotten into it. I find the sour aspect of kombucha to be a bit off-putting overall.
Yeah.
So, but
There's some that are sweeter that are actually pretty good, but they're not so sugary. You know what I mean? But and there's actually, I think it's quote unquote
they're drier.
Obviously, alcohol is turns into some form. Yeah. So,
Wait,
but
what
it's
are you
good.
guys doing for fitness during this whole thing? This has been kind of rough and
What?
kind of curious.
Fitness? Steve rides his bike every day. I see pictures.
All the time. I see the pictures. Steve's always riding.
Every day.
Yep.
Every day.
I go once a week, maybe.
Nice.
I've
It's
been
not
doing
enough.
the same thing as Steve, but I've been when I have my kids, I just have it on my bike trainer in the kitchen.
Nice.
Mhm.
Dude, that's killer. That's awesome.
Yeah, works great.
We managed to grab a Peloton bike for the holidays a year and a half ago, and that's pretty. It's really nice to have it because it gets so hot out here sometimes. It's like I'm not going out in that nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
See, I like that. Man.
I mean, I think it's hotter here than where you are, even though you still get pretty hot over there. But
it gets blazing. I mean, it's been those last few days like 95.
Oh, it was 100, almost 100 over here. Yeah.
I'll still ride in that in midday. I love it, man.
I'll do it on a road bike, but not on a mountain bike because when you're climbing and you're going like 2 miles an hour, it's just like you're just baking. Ugh.
It's awesome.
The Midwest report was today was cloudy and a high of 61.
Wow. Nice.
Yeah, we were in the 50s today.
That's too cold for me, kids. Nope.
Yeah, we were pretty happy that Boston coastline hit around 60.
Cool. Yeah. So wait, where are you, Jonathan?
Kalamazoo, Michigan.
Okay. Right on. And Joe, you're in New York, right?
New Jersey.
Jersey. Okay.
Yeah, Jersey.
And Tony,
Boston. Boston.
Cool.
I don't have the big strong accent unless
it's not fast.
Yes, no, Tony. Yes, you do, and it's good. It's okay.
Tony,
I love it.
Cool, bro.
Yeah.
you guys are too much.
You're a cop. I'm not a cop. You're a cop. Sorry.
It's not too strong. I don't have it too bad.
I'm not a cop. You're a cop.
All right, my guitar, like Joe, he has it. My guitar player.
Filoni.
Filoni,
yeah.
Oh my God.
You guys are like from The Departed. I watched that movie and it's like,
he lives in the north end, like the Italian part of Boston, like the real towny area.
Yeah.
Like all the old, like 70-year-old guys wearing like $700 leather coats. That's where he lives. That's where he's from.
Wow.
I was talking to Tony the other day. I was rewatching one of my. I love Anthony Bourdain. I mean, it makes me sad, but I love. And the one where he goes to Boston is it's so good. It's fantastic, and just reminded me of you guys. It was so good, though.
Steve,
man.
you would love it out here in like September.
Yeah.
Oh God. That'd be amazing.
I mean, I've mentioned it to all you guys. My house is open anytime anyone visits. Really.
All right.
Well, maybe this will tie us into the bass thing a little bit here, which is ostensibly what we're here for.
Oh yeah, sorry.
But no, it's cool. I love it. But I mean, everybody's so hungry to talk about all kinds of stuff because we don't get to hang out with people right now. But
exactly.
But other than this, this kind of a thing. But I'm if things loosen up and I can figure out how to do it safely, I want to do a road trip still. And take 5 or 6 cat bases all over the place. And I need to get to the East Coast because I've never been past Nashville, which is criminal. I'm almost 50 for Christ's sake. So I need to get out there and explore the world a little bit. So I'm going to try to line some of that stuff up. Maybe it'll be in the fall.
Yeah, that'd be
August,
cool.
September. Yeah.
Nice.
Joe will tell you out here September, October in the Northeast is like
heaven. Yeah. No, I know because I grew up in Minnesota and it's similar in Minnesota. It's the color and the cooler temperatures and the bugs are starting to go away. And I'm looking forward to doing some of that.
If you make it up here, Carey, I know all the people at Heritage Guitars and we could get you in for a tour.
Oh man. Oh, that'd be fun.
Ooh,
yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I'd dig that.
Yeah.
I'll definitely make it up that way because my family, my dad, actually he's leaving tomorrow to go back there. We have a farm in a town called McGregor.
Okay.
It's the family farm that he grew up on. It's like 130 acres on a lake, farming countryside. And that's near Duluth, Minnesota. So, I'll be up that way. I need to go through Chicago. I got a buddy in Chicago. So Michigan is totally doable. So
Yeah, I'm like 2 hours from Chicago, so
cool.
super
Cool.
easy to drive.
Piece of cake. Yeah.
Nice.
Right on. And I'd love to go through that area during the fall color stretch. So,
Yes, very
yeah.
much.
That'd
Carey,
be
base-wise,
business.
tell us what's going on. Tell us I know you've had a couple of podcasts with people. You've talked to Jenkins and a handful of other folks, and you had a one-on-one with Steve. But regurgitate this. This is going to go out to Talk Base and
You
everywhere else.
bet. Did the Jenkins one go up yet with me on it? I don't know if he's put that one out, but
I haven't seen it yet.
know.
okay, I haven't either. I don't even remember what we talked about. I mean, that was really like the second week of this craziness.
I think yours and mine,
but-
Carey, yours and mine was pretty early too.
I think yours. Yeah, we were right around in there too. Yeah.
we were in the WTF is going like we're not really sure. It was
Yeah. Well, so I can give you like a broad update about where we're at as a company and how things are looking for us. And it looks like we're going to get some of the PPP money. So, which is really going to set us up for a kick butt year. Honestly, we probably would have been fine without it, but given the uncertainty around things, we went ahead and applied for it anyway. And it looks like it's going to come through. So that means that, getting the cat-based shipments in, which should be mid-June. And for anyone who doesn't know about that, this is
The most incredible base out there.
And
I
the
love that
headstock,
thing.
funky ass headstock. And I think, can you hear it?
Not at all.
Okay, it's going through a different set of stuff. Anyway, it's these are, so they're actually building them right now. I believe they're in production right now, and they're scheduled to be done mid next month.
Nice.
Okay.
And then I imagine they're going to get on a boat. We might explore having some air-shipped if we want to try to fulfill orders quicker and get some momentum going. Currently, I have 3 sample bases. I have this one here. I have a black one that I sent to this dude named Ben Shepard. He has a YouTube show called Ben on Bass, which is kind of a short scale bass thing that he does.
Okay.
So we came across him at NAMM at the bass hang, which I am not doing that again. No offense to the people that do it, but running a booth, we may not even have a NAMM this coming year anyway. So
I don't think we are.
I doubt it.
You're referring to the base bash, correct?
Right, the bass bash. It was the bass bash was just too much to do after a full day at the show for me, and it wrecked me. It really wrecked me. So I was like, I'm out of this business. So I mean, if it happens again, the year after, then I'll make sure we staff properly for it so that we've got things lined up. But the way things went this year, it was things got a little weird, and I ended up having to be there myself for most of it, which was a bit much. So it was cool. It was a great hang. Anyway, I met this guy Ben there, and he got super excited about it, and he wanted one to review. So nice. I managed to send him one up. I'm also going to probably try, find other places to get them to. I have a red burst one that we got as one of the first samples, and I sent that one to Tim LaFay, and he's been mucking around with that one. And then the other one, there's a white one of the recent batch of 3 basses, and that one's at John Herrera's, and he's going to do some damage with it too. So, and then I'm going to try to keep them moving a little bit. So they only spend a couple of weeks in one place, and so they can get some exposure and get around. There's a guy, Hondo Felder, who's in the Bay Area. He's got like 17,000. Drew Felder, his Instagram account. He's got like 17,000 followers. So I was trying to line him up after Ben's done with that one to get it over to him, so he can do some stuff with it too. So
how many colors are going to be out? Because they're coming.
The first batch is only going to be 4 colors.
Okay.
Yeah, black, white, green, surf green, and then they tell me this is Lake Placid blue, but this isn't like any Lake Placid blue I've ever seen. It's more like what I originally wanted, which was like a Fiat blue. So I think this metallic blue is fantastic. It's probably my favorite color.
Can you show us again and maybe like all the details of the bass?
Yeah, man. Let me unplug it.
It almost looks a pseudo Inca silver with blue in it, right? Like a lighter, or is it just a light, or is it?
From my
I mean,
view,
part
it
of it's
looks
this weird
silverish,
yellowish light.
yeah.
Yeah, it's this weird yellow light. Here, let me get some neutral.
You know
light on
what?
it.
You know what I like about it? It's different. It's not something like you've ever seen before. You know?
Well,
Very unique. It's rad.
it is definitely different. Let me try to put some daylight on this so we get an accurate color.
So, Carey, you think that's the
Okay.
That's
one?
better. Yeah,
That's the color to go with?
that's the color I like. Now, if you're a black or white guy, I mean, those are great colors too. We're also going to be able to. We're going to get extra pick guards. So if you want the one different pick guard on
Swap
the other
them out.
color, we could swap them out. So we're definitely going to accommodate.
I
people
think
in
it's
that
nice
way,
with the
too.
white, man.
I like this one with the white. I wouldn't do it
Yeah.
with Tor, but the white one, you know, I could see putting a parchment guard on the Olympic white. I could see
Right.
that being a vibe. Same thing on a black. A white on a black would go cool. Yeah, those are the 4 initial colors, and the reason we only were able to do 4 colors is because they have minimum quantities, and they actually reduced their minimums for us so that we could actually do 4 colors. Otherwise, I'd have been stuck with 3. So when we do another batch, we'll pick a couple of other colors. And
What's the stock pick guard on the black one?
Torque.
Oh,
Good. Of course.
Yep. Torque.
Any U.S. custom ones? Are you going to do any here that special?
I
order?
have my Jacaranda one over here that I had at NAM, and I think I need to sell it. I'm on the fence of whether or not I really actually want to pull the trigger on selling it. I'm gonna pull this light down a little bit. It's too bright. Come on, there we go. That's better. I got one of these LifeX light bulbs, which is adjustable and from white to like a yellow color, and you can adjust the brightness. And I got it on like a photo set up over here. You can't see, my computer won't let you. But man, it's great for this kind of stuff because I can dial the lighting in and
Nice.
you know. But yeah, it's coming along. I people that have played them really dig them, but I'm gonna do a handful. I'm getting my CNC machine. Let's continue the sort of the shop. Well, what do you want to do? You want to talk about this? Let me finish talking about this before we move on. So these are single coils that I designed. These are actually violin-based size covers.
okay.
So they're wider than what you're probably used to seeing, and there's a steel blade, and then it's a P90 magnet configuration. So the blade is like this, and then the magnets interface on the bottom like that, and push the field up through, and then it's just a big fat coil, and there's a base plate in there, and it's all screwed together. And the pickups are actually made in a factory in Indonesia that is part of the factory that's making the bases. There's a single volume knob. This is a proprietary, they're going to offer them to other people too, but it's a hip shot bridge. It's basically a modified, tweaked version of their bent plate. So it's got a longer length here, longer screws, and it's got the threaded saddles, which are cool. And all that's really kind of for vibe. It's also got a tumbled finish instead of a chrome finish, which does 2 things: keeps the cost down, and it adds a nice sort of a muted organic vibe to it, I think.
Yeah, I like it.
And then we get into the switches over here. So these are your pickup switches. That's off. That's both pickups, neck, bridge off, right? And then this is your tone section. So that's flat. That's an 047 cap, like your traditional passive tone on your P bass or your J bass. That's twice as strong as that one. So it's super dark. And then this is a mid notch. If you think about this as a slap cut, mid cut, you're not gonna get it. I mean, it kind of works for that, but it's more like it's a more subtle organic vibe mid cut. So those are your tone settings. These are your pickup settings, and this is the clincher right here. If you push all these in, it puts the pickups in series. And then this dark,
That's rad.
all in with this on super dark. I started sort of calling that the Bob Glob mode because that's how he records with that bass that he has all the time. Like that's the main setting he uses. And he's done tons of tracks with it over the last year.
Cool.
Yeah, Chrissy
Dude, that's
Hine,
like that's like the 1176 all-in mode.
Totally. That's where that's what these
Hell
switches
yeah.
are from. These are 1176 switches.
That's rad.
I have a buddy that works at Universal Audio.
Nice.
I'm super tight with him. I'm tight with them. I'm actually on their beta team.
Nice.
And I got to play with their new recording system.
The Luna?
Right around NAMM, they started sending out, all right, now you can download and beta test, public beta.
Well,
Not public
this
beta,
is-
but but outside the office beta.
That's the money right there, dude.
Yeah, dude, those things are killer, man.
That's a 21176. That's a 2-channel stereo one that I stole. I didn't steal, but
practically stole. Yeah,
yeah,
those are great.
It's
anyway,
single chain. Anyways, yeah. Sorry.
He gave me he helped me get the part number for the Switch, and so then I was able to order and hook up with the supplier.
Oh, right.
That's such a great idea. I love it.
The concept of all in was just like, oh my god, this is going to be the coolest thing ever, and sure enough, it's really turning into something. So
see, that's my kind of nerdy, guys. That's Star Wars.
Right.
That's my kind of nerdy. Sorry.
Cool.
I mean, that works for us too, Steve.
Yes.
You know.
No, I love it, man.
Yeah, I mean, didn't you watch
John
Tony
and I
light up when
Carey
Carey's
too,
like,
we're all-
and this puts it into series?
Yes.
Tony's face.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, mind blown. Yeah. Yeah. Totally.
Tony needs a cigarette now.
Yeah, exactly. So the only other thing really that, I mean, the details would be like string spacing. It's 17 millimeters at the bridge.
Oh, wow.
It's a 1.4 inch nut,
Okay.
which is narrower than a J bass, right?
Ooh.
And it's, hello. Am I too loud? Why am I yelling? Oh, sorry. I'm too loud. I got to be quieter. She's on a meeting too, so we're both doing Zoom meetings at the same
Everyone's
time.
zooming.
Awesome.
Anyway, yeah, who's zooming? Anyway, the radius, also I paid an extra tooling fee to have them build a compound radius sander for the neck. So it's 7.5 to 12. So it's going to play great. And it has a spoke wheel truss rod. So what's not to like? $7.99.
Oh, love it.
That's
And
nice.
we're getting gig bags sorted out. I think we're using Gator, and we're going to do an OEM custom version of their it's a Jazzmaster case, which fits the bass perfectly. So
Gorgeous, man. I love it.
32-inch scale, right?
30.7. Sorry, I
Oh,
neglected
30.
that. 30.7, which is 780 millimeters. So, and this is all directly pulled right off of a Goya. All those numbers, 17 millimeters, the pickup spacing, the scale length, and the nut width, and then the heel width, all that stuff. So
That's rad.
now, here's a footnote for people that might be interested who are listening to this, who also play guitar. I think I'm going to take this thing and adapt it and make a guitar and try to do the same thing with the guitar. Basically make a cat bass guitar, or cat bass guitar. That doesn't make sense. Cat guitar, a Synonix guitar.
You heard it here first.
Yeah, publicly, actually. Yeah. Here's a scoop for you. So that's where we're at on those things. Other
What would the
shops.
scale length, Carey, be on the guitar? Actually, I'm curious.
That's a good question. I don't know where I'm going to go on that. I tend to like the shorter scales because they're just fatter sounding instruments.
Like a Gibson style, then.
Yeah, but I don't like the issues you tend to have on Gibson because the string goes over the nut at an angle, and then that G string binds, and so they're really hard to get them to play in tune. They're hard to tune. Anyway, that's an issue. So if I can come up with something that's a straight string pull and I can do a shorter scale length, I will probably go that direction. I have a guitar that I got from a friend of mine, builder, who I'm not going to mention because he's a bit controversial. And I'm sure if y'all read between the lines, you can probably figure out who it is. But this guitar has a shorter scale, and it has some pickups in it that I tweaked and sort of adjusted. And I'm looking to probably put those in the guitar version of this, something like that, which will be something I don't know if, I'm sure somebody's done it somewhere and I just don't know about it. But yeah, that's how the guitar is probably going to go. I don't know. I may play with a couple different scale lengths. I'm getting my CNC machine sorted out again because my computer that I originally bought with Windows 98 or XP or something like that on it. That's my CNC controller computer, and it's 16 years old.
Oh.
And so it finally started doing some funky stuff, and was like, all right, it's time to find something else. So there's this company in Australia called Masso, and they make a little tiny box. It's about that big, and it's a computer and a servo controller, and it's all this stuff in one, and it's cheaper than buying. Plus, it has the software on it to run the CNC machine, so it's cheaper than buying a PC and some software and mucking around and trying to get it all to work. So I'm in the process of getting that fired up and dialed in on the machine, and it'll have way more capability than I had before. So I should be able to be a bit more creative and more productive with my machine in terms of prototyping stuff and having fun. So I'm going to make a handful of couple of P bases. I got a couple of guys that want P bases. I'm going to do them in my super high-end lacquer, quarter sawn maple, one-piece okume body kind of vibe. And then I'm also got a couple guys lined up for some J bases in the same sort of paradigm, the 4-string all lacquer super light bodies. They're expensive though, so
Yeah.
which is why I'm doing them. And then I'm gonna make some guitars. So I gotta make myself a telly because I gave my daughter my telly that I made myself. I gave it to her for her 18th birthday. So
That's awesome.
Oh,
I let her sort through all of my guitars, and you can pick one of them for your birthday. And so that's the one she picked. So
Nice.
yeah, pretty cool.
You know, we were talking the other day, like, okay, it's kind of hard to predict a trend, obviously, and then it's even harder to predict a trend when people aren't gigging, right?
Yeah.
So we're trying to determine, like, where is like the vintage and the short scale still going on? Looks like we have a visitor.
Yes.
Hi.
I love it.
The cat's looking for the bass. Like, where's
That's
the bass?
awesome. Oh yeah, that's right. Yes.
All right.
And just it seems like that the short scale and vintage is still like super strong.
Well,
That's what's happening.
You know, it's interesting. I was thinking about this at NAMM this year because there were two things going on from my perspective that were hot. And one was the short scale vintage vibe kind of old school thing. And two, is this kind of business here.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Fan fret headless.
Mhm.
Yep.
Right. I mean, this kind of thing is all the rage right now.
Sure.
So it's, you know, Tony, it's hard to say. I think, I mean, there's a lot of things coming and going, fading in, fading out all the time. But primarily, it's just, I think people are just chasing the tone that is in fashion right now. And there's a lot of the modern, heavier music. You know, this kind of thing works better for that because it's a really
you know,
open
the
sound,
Kiesel
right?
guys, you know,
Yeah.
they're all about that
Yeah.
stuff, right?
Yeah, Strandberg and everybody, and then there's the guys who just want a fat, dark, thumpy sound that has some character and interest, and that's the short scale thing, man. Those two things are pretty hot. I personally, I'm still completely infatuated with P basses, so I don't know about that, but
Same here. All of us.
yeah,
Love P.
that's
Except
my.
Joe.
I've been in a
Joe-
Except
PJ
for me.
phase lately. I've never really been a PJ guy. And in the past, I don't know, a few months,
Oh yeah,
I
look at that one.
built a PJ off your pickups, a 4-string, and it has the bridge pickup that you don't like. You have
Oh,
two
yeah.
different
That's a
two different
Boardwell, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
nice.
I don't know what you call it, but you know, Adrian was telling me, "Oh, Carey doesn't like this one. It's kind of nasty."
Oh, the SE, yeah,
the SE,
I'm-
The SE.
the SE, and the
the NJ4 SE, right? Or are we talking about P pickups now?
no, this is the bridge pickup and
Okay.
and for the P pickup, it's the NP4,
Yeah, yeah,
and it just kills.
Yeah.
It kills. It slays.
man.
I have a whole new love. I just built this parts hanging around. I'm like, let's build this thing up,
Yeah.
right? Because it's all Warmouth, all Nordstrand, all Schaller,
Yeah.
right? It came out
Cool.
as the best 4-string PJ I've ever played.
Man, I just really like how I play on a simple bass, a 4-string bass with a sort of clean basic tone, a fat round. I just tend to play stuff that is more appealing and it's really focuses on the groove and I like to play like the same 2 bars over and over again, you know, until I'm sort of zoning out and just really embraced and surrounded by the groove. That's kind of what my thing is these days. I don't know if any of you guys have heard any of the cool SoundCloud links I put up every now and then, but if you go searching, you can find me on SoundCloud and check some of this stuff out.
I've heard some of it. Some of the newer stuff.
It's fun. I just have a blast.
This is still my favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah. Big singles.
That's
Big singles,
So,
pulled
big
back.
singles? Yeah.
Yep. That bass is deadly, man.
TP5.
Just deadly.
Just stop it, Joe. I gotta do it.
Joe, what were the
I know I can read your thoughts, Paisan.
Yeah.
Joe?
I was
Joe,
just about to say, what does the TP stand for?
Well, maybe toilet paper. I don't know.
Toilet paper.
the most sought after
Extra
commodity?
hot right about now.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Tony's
Hey,
hoarding
Joe.
the TP bases.
Yeah. Joe, what were the pickups in your bass? What are those pickups in?
I have no idea. You know, the funny thing is that I was like, to echo what Carey was saying. This is a 32-inch scale, 6-string fretless Cliff Boardwell that I bought from a buddy of mine for a steal. I don't even want to say how much I spent for it. But
Is that a camphor top?
I don't even know.
It looks like camphor to me. Yeah.
I'm waiting for Cliff to let me know, but
Yeah.
we got
Those are
Nordstrand pickups.
Those
that-
are called jazz bars. Actually, those are jazz bars. What we call jazz
Those
bars.
are nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're basically J pickups in a soap bar cover. So
It's an incredible sounding playing bass.
cool.
Because Carey can attest to this. Ever since I saw the first drawings of the cat bass, I've been bothering him,
Right.
sending him messages and this and that, because I first saw the Goya with of course Juan, and I don't know if
Mm-hmm.
the video he's walking, which is
Yes. Oh God.
like
So good to see. I almost started crying. I was like,
Yeah,
oh,
dude,
yes,
seriously?
yes. Yeah.
when I started doing demos, I don't want to get Steve's ego, but Steve was of mine, as was Juan. These were the
Yeah.
guys that I looked to emulate. And when Juan started playing, when Juan first came up with that Goya, I was just like, holy cow, that's exactly what I was looking for, because
Yeah.
I wanted that retro vibe, but I wanted something, new. And I read, review after review that 90% of them on the market, they're selling for $1,000, $1,600, but they were crap.
More than that. Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah.
it was like, it was basically luck of the draw. Like,
Right.
Juan got lucky, obviously, because what does he have, like 2 or 3 of them?
I think he's got 2 now. He's always horse trading stuff around, so it's hard to say. Yeah.
Right. So he had the red one, and I think he had
A
the
burst.
burst one.
Yep.
And then Yannick got one that sounded incredible. And I
Mhm.
short scale vibe, the 17 millimeter spacing, just that oomph for it. And I'm all about short scale basses. I love them. So as I'm saying, I've been since Carey put out the first drawings, I'm like, Carey, I need one. I need one.
Look, there's an argument to be made that Juan basically created the market for this bass by getting into the Goya and sort of resurrecting that and making it a thing and quadrupling the used prices on them because, he's
does that.
famous. Yeah. And so suddenly it was like, oh, an $800 new and improved version of a Goya that's a pretty good idea. So, in the way all this stuff unfolded when I was putting this instrument together and sort of prototyping it and building and trying things out and seeing how it worked, it was just so sort of organic. I didn't even, it just kind of circumstance told me, hey, you ought to do this. And so I was like, all right, let's try it. So, yeah.
Yeah. I'm glad you did, man. I'm glad.
Oh, me too. Having had one with Bob Glaub for over a year, and have it become like one of his main instruments. I can't even, I still am like, wow, so yeah, really just blown away by the way this has gone. So yeah, it's kind of a big deal for me. So
Cool. Yeah.
yeah.
Nice.
Anyway, cool. That's kind of where the shop's at. We're still cranking pickups out. We've got tons of orders. We've got 2 or 3 months worth of orders. We're building tons of stuff for those fan fret instruments for Ibanez.
Good stuff.
they got swamped with orders right around NAMM, just blasted with orders. And so they just kept sending in orders for pickups. And we were like, who's going to make these? We can't build, 2,000 pickups in 2 months. I mean, you guys are insane. That's 5 times what we normally do. So, so I bought winding machines and hired people, and we kind of did our best to keep up with it. And we're keeping them from rioting for now, but it's been a challenge to kind of hold it all together in this stretch here. So, but direct sales, I mean, we had a killer direct sale month this month, like one of our best months ever.
Nice.
Which is crazy. And I think there's a couple factors there. I mean, other places are closed down right now. That's one thing. And then, we've just managed to keep things plugging along. Plus people that don't need stimulus money are, I'll buy some pickups and a preamp, I mean,
right.
So, and then they'll still have a bunch of money left over. So, I think we've got really lucky. I'll just put it that way. The way all this stuff has played out over the last couple months. Guys took winding machines home and magnet grinders, and one of the guys does quality control checks at home, and then brings home piles of stuff, quality checks it, puts it in bags, brings it back, and then we ship it out. So,
Nice.
So everybody here is observing the social distancing. We've got our own little grooves. It's basically home, food, and work, and that's it. So it's about as safe as we can make it, and we're still cruising along, and business is good, and we're set up for a good year. So
Awesome.
things are pretty great right now. So
Cool. I know you've if not now, you will shortly. I've got a 32-inch scale 5-string from Matt at Better Mousetraps. As I think what we did is we're getting a big man pickup for it.
Cool.
But what we're doing is, because I'm a very minimalist player on the front, all we're putting on the front is just a series parallel switch.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. I have a big man and a fretless over here. Some of you guys might have seen this already. This is a Gary Willis.
Yeah.
It's a Japanese Gary Willis. Is it?
You've had that one for a while, right? For a little while. I think I've played that one.
Oh, my eyes. Yeah. I've had this one for a couple of years. Maybe more than that. Holy cow. Anyway, but yeah, I routed it out, and all the Gary Willis purists properly freaked out. But but I got 2 volumes here, right? I mean, Gary's using an Aguilar pickup now anyway, so whatever. Front pickup, rear pickup, and then the passive tone.
Oh, nice.
So that's full on in parallel. And then it's amazing, actually, the difference between the two when you roll them back and forth. There's actually more difference than you would think being so close together. But yeah, this bass is to have one fretless bass around for studio work and creative stuff. This thing is ridiculous.
And that happens to be one of the greatest fretless basses out on the market.
It's really
One
killer.
for sure. Yes. Yeah, it's a good bass.
So. Ow. Yeah.
Carey,
Anyway.
one thing you could do, because people go back and forth on talk bass, and it seems like the pickup forum is exploding the past 2-3 months, right?
Good.
Could you go into a little bit of detail in your big series and maybe just give a quick synopsis of each one of your big pickups, the big split, the big single,
I don't know. That's a bit salesy for me, but yeah,
it's just more informative for people like, I want to try this, I want to do this,
So there's big singles, there's big splits, there's big rigs, there's big blades. So much big. Big man. We should have a pickup we just call the Big. Yeah, I mean the concept for the big single, actually the big single started as a fat stack. That was the first version of pickup that I made that had angled pole pieces.
I mean, you know how I feel about it. It's my favorite pickup of all time.
Yes, I do, and I'm grateful. It's really cool. I mean, Ibanez has been using thousands of them over the last 10 years, and I couldn't have ever dreamed it would go like this, really. But yeah, so the big single is what it says it is. It's a big fat single coil. The big split is 2 coils that are split in the middle, right? So it would be a single coil, but it's not. So there's a 2-string on the 4-string. It's 2 and 2. On the 5-string, it's 2 and 3, and then on the 6, it's 3 and 3 strings per coil. The big
They tend to be a little
rig,
darker.
yeah, typically they're a little,
Yeah, like a
little warmer, a little less open and shiny on the top. So people that want to play fingerstyle, I mean, obviously the hum canceling thing is the big draw with the big split. You're not going to have the 60 cycle noise that single coils pull in. So that's the main thing that you get from that. But they're a little warmer, sort of more round sound. So for guys who do fingerstyle thing, they're probably a little more appealing. But with a decent onboard preamp, you can push the tone in all kinds of different directions. So you could do whatever you want with them, really. But then we got into the big rigs, which are a dual coil with only 1 pole per string instead of the 2 poles. It's just the 1, and then on the other coil, it's the other side. So 1 coil captures the downward movement of the string, and 1 captures the upward movement of the string, and you get a really complex, elegant, rich tone off of those things. That is pretty. It's probably the most. Stu likes to describe it as an elegant sounding pickup, and I think that's a great way of putting it. It's just a really. There's a lot of character. But it's very balanced, and it's probably more sort of what I'd call hi-fi than pretty much anything else we do with conical poles. And then we got into the big blades. The blade pickups were the thing that the light bulb that came on that made those work was the slotting of the blade, so that the cover doesn't fall apart. I mean, it looks cool, but it's mainly just a functional thing.
Right.
It's so that the cover doesn't fall apart. And I was trying to wrestle that. How do I make a blade pickup without having to epoxy pot it or have it be non-exposed? And I want it to look interesting. And then finally that idea, I'll just put slots and keep the cover intact across the blade. And then I couldn't put one together quick enough. And then, we said it took a bit to dial the winding in on that, because it's a ceramic and steel construction, which is not something I was super experienced with at the time we put that together. And but the blades are they've got a thing going pretty strong too. And then
more bottom end on the blades, right?
The blades. I mean, it feels like a heavier bottom end, but they're still really balanced. They just have a ton of dynamic range and power, but they never sort of over deliver. Like, they don't get too much, which is interesting. I'm not sure why.
I can't wait for my next TP5. We're experimenting with a pair of blades. I normally run the big singles in series.
Yeah.
We're going to try the blades in parallel, just in a parallel.
Right.
And we're also experimenting with roasted. It's one of the first mic.
Cool.
Roasted nets.
Yeah.
Ooh, so it's going to be a slight departure, but still a TP5, still in that tight pickup position.
Yeah.
And I'm really curious how it's going to be versus the other ones I have.
You're gonna love it. I can tell you now. I think you're gonna really dig it. It's just such a growly, dynamic sound with lots of complexity, and it's fun. But then I had to figure out how to make a hum canceling version of a blade pickup, and that got into the Zen blades. And so those are actually sidewinders too. So the blade is like this, and normally a coil would go around, like the strings are up here, right? Bridge, neck. The coil will go around this way. Well, in this case, or you'd have 2 coils that way or split or whatever. In this case, the coil is this way. It goes this way. And so the blade, there's a magnet. Wait, I'm sorry. The coil's this way.
Oh, yeah.
There's 2 of them, one on either side, and then the blade's in the middle. And so then the magnets are in the center of each coil on each side, and then the blade goes up through the middle, and you get a really nice.
Interesting.
Again, an organic. Yeah, there you go. You can see it there. Yeah.
I am.
And those were a bit tricky to figure out. we basically figured out sort of a snap style construction for our fiber, which actually works pretty good instead
I
of
think
having
those are the ones that Nino
bobbins
really
made.
likes. Nino likes those blades.
Valenti?
Yeah, Nino
Yeah.
Valenti, yeah.
You know what we did to him one time? We sent him some blades early on, and he cut his fingers on them because he was playing aggressively, and so he sent me pictures of like his fingers bleeding, and so the next order we sent him some Band-Aids. So I was like, here you go. If you're gonna hurt yourself, you know.
He's this close to coming out and running in my posse at NAMM next year, if NAMM goes on.
Oh man,
And I
he should
extended the
totally
whole
do.
thing to Joe as well. I'm like, come stay with my group, do everything. It'll be cool. You know.
We should, you know what? If NAMM doesn't happen, maybe we should look at putting together some kind of a hang, anyway. As long as we can do it safely, you know, and have it sort of contained and
Safe?
yeah. Everybody's got to wear hazmat suits and goggles and yeah. But that would be cool. But yeah, he digs those too for sure. Yeah. But did I cover all the big pickups?
No, that's
I mean, the
pretty
big
good.
man.
This is good for people to hear, and it's not so much salesy, but more like a tone explanation of tone
Right.
from the creator
Right.
to the marketplace and so forth, right? I mean, people want to know this.
Yeah. Yeah. Makes sense.
I'm actually thinking of, I have that Colibri that has big singles.
Yeah.
I kind of want to maybe put some big rigs in there, just series, you know, just to check it out. So I've been tossing it around. I've been talking to Tony about it. Like,
I think you'd like that. Yeah, I think you'd like that.
something different, just to try it. You know.
I would definitely make them switchable though, series parallel. I think because they're both extremely usable sounds with that pickup. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll talk. But I've been thinking about it.
Cool.
So.
Gary, I have a question.
Yeah.
For my fretless, I was considering. I'm actually looking for something like more modern. You know, like a very, very aggressive fretless tone. What would you recommend if I wanted to swap out because these are just regular single, correct?
When you say modern, moderns, there's not enough information there for me. What like give me somebody that has a fretless sound that you think of as modern.
I guess like let's talk like I like that aggressive like Dingwall sound.
Okay.
So that's what I mean by modern, where it's very, very trebly, but the mids cut through.
What about like a Michael Manring vibe? Is that kind of or Trip Walmsley? How about Trip Walmsley? You know Trip Walmsley?
Of course I know Trip, yeah.
Yeah. He's got what I would call a modern fretless sound. That's I think
that's pretty safe. Yeah, Trip's fretless sound. Okay. You're talking about his Alembic.
Alembic. Yeah, he plays an Alembic.
Yeah.
Trip likes to put a lot of top end on his sound, which that doesn't work for me. I can't make that work. But so probably honestly, I'd probably recommend the big rigs because they're a more elegant, open, airy sound, and that would probably give you that clarity that you want from the top, plus the complexity and lushness in the mid range. So
and then
what I'd.
And then with a pre, I could get a passive, active push type pre. Okay. Yeah.
Can I give you like 2 cents on that, Joe? Let me just give you like, because I've been with Carey since a long time, since almost your very beginning, actually. You know, I've had everything. So I would just realize my daughter is going to be 12, and I think it was about a year before that I was with you, like maybe even a little bit. Right?
Yeah.
So, Joe, what I noticed to get that Dingwall sound, that's really my TP5. It gets that like that, and big singles in series creates more of that lower mid-range, that modern lower mid-range. Instantly lower mids go boop through the roof.
Right.
But like not old school lower mids. It's like lower mids and this like a little bit of a bump of the upper mids, and my mid-range explodes with that. The big singles in series, man, is like I have 4 basses like that. It's my favorite sound ever.
Show me that board well again. I want to see where the pickups are. I don't remember exactly.
You know what? Let me put on a light so at least you can see it.
You know, speaking of short scales, I've got a fun one to show you guys. I'll be right back.
Cool.
Uh-oh. John's gonna make me nervous.
I know.
Okay.
Mm.
So that neck pickup looks roughly P-base placement, and the back pickup is sort of maybe 70-ish.
Yeah.
You know, I'm trying to factor in the 32-inch scale as well. Is that a 24 fret fingerboard?
Yes.
Okay. You know, on Tony's bass, the pickups are moved back. So if you took that neck pickup and you moved it back like a half an inch,
Right.
you'd probably have roughly what Tony has on his bass translated to the scale. I mean, yours is 35, right, dude?
Mine's I'm not cool. I play
Yeah.
35s.
Well, one time you were the coolest around with 35. That was a big deal once upon a time.
So let me just explain on this bass. This bass, how it is, the pickup is adjusted to where the 60s position would be, right?
Okay.
Mike did that specifically. So if you got an M5, this pickup's exactly where an M5 would be. It's exactly where the back pickup of a jazz bass would be, slightly ever adjusted, which I think is like maybe a quarter of an inch, really.
For the scale? Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
This pickup is just moved back about an inch
From a J neck placement.
from a J neck placement.
Okay. Yeah.
Right. So you got a tighter staccato, mid-rangey, punchy.
Oh, if I do like a fast run, like every note comes through, like you know.
Right. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I like that.
So.
So it's almost.
Yeah, you couldn't have two more different basses, you know, physically to try to compare sounds. I mean, the pickup placements are in the ballpark, but a 35-inch scale versus a 32. What's the back on the boardwell? The body?
The body. It looks. I'm not.
Well, it looks like a mahogany core, right?
Yeah, mahogany core, maybe pistachio.
Oh, it could be. Yeah, yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, it looks like pistachio.
Yeah, no, I think it's pistachio. It's not open pore enough to be limba, but
Yeah,
that's
no,
a-
it's,
yeah.
it's not black limbo.
So is that a pretty warm sounding bass?
Now this,
Yes. I want to get it more aggressive.
this
And I
is in
think- see,
series
to
as
me-
well.
I think the big rigs, man. I think that would be to pull some top end out of it.
Yeah.
That's a
This is
which
exactly
tone?
where a jazz bass spacing would be if this
Okay.
is an M5.
Right.
So I play this as well, and mine. Mine's just like this.
Yours is an inch. Yeah, you can definitely see the difference.
That one's probably better for slap stuff.
Believe it or not, this is what gets weird about everything. You can build something and say, and Carey, you can attest to this. I think we all can. You can say, oh, this is going to be deeper and everything. This is actually brighter. Doesn't even matter on the wood. Like it is on paper, this should be deeper and more scoopier than my
Right.
signature. It's definitely more scoopier, but it's not deeper at all.
Huh.
Actually.
Wow.
I just think it's the wood combination, what have you. But then again, I have another TP5 that's built exactly the same way. It's about a half a pound heavier,
Yeah.
and it's a lot brighter.
Oh yeah. Heavier is bright usually. That's my experience.
Northern
The heavier,
ash, yeah, more
the
heavier
heavier. It doesn't even matter what kind of wood it is. It's more about the weight. I actually think weight is more important than wood species. Sorry, controversial stuff, but so
Heresy.
You
Yeah.
have a valid point there.
John, didn't you
I mean-
grab the bass?
I did.
yeah. Show us. Where is it?
Show us, John.
Let's go.
You're ready for this.
Ooh.
Wow.
This is a Kalamazoo, which was the low end from Gibson when they made them in town.
No kidding.
Yeah. So
That's cool.
the body, you can probably see it a little bit right here. It's actually a press board,
Okay. Yeah.
but all bridge and the original electronics are all straight EBO.
hmm
So the thing is, as EBO prices are skyrocketing, guys would be buying these because you
Right.
could get these for a couple of $100, but you could use the parts to restore
Mm.
EBO. But what I did on here was I got a custom pick guard made, and I have a telly pickup in here just to tame this thing,
hmm
because as it should go without saying, short scale with the mud bucker is just
Pure mud. Yeah.
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 Wasn't
It
it?
sounds great once you run some distortion through it,
Oh, cool.
because it tightens everything up and brings out the high end. But yeah, I did that just because so I could and I wired them in parallel,
Mm-hmm.
just so it will it opens up the tone knob a little bit more.
Get a little more top out of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the scale length on that?
I think it's 30. Like
Wow.
officially, I don't know if it's the 30 and a half or whatever, but yeah.
I have a question for both John and Carey. So, like on a 30 scale base, I don't know if you guys ever saw the demo I did for Mike Tobias's 30-inch 630.
Mm-hmm.
He had custom strings made by Labella for that base. 17 millimeter spacing. They were a super, super light gauge string, but they were also booming. I prefer a standard size string. So on a 30-inch scale, can I use a standard gauge string like 145s or 95s to 40?
You can. You just got to get it to fit, because the biggest issue you're going to have, especially on little tuning pegs like this,
right,
is having the full meat of the string around it.
Yeah,
right.
So, like,
and the core will break. Yeah,
tuner, you can usually get away with it.
Yeah, the 1/2-inch post.
Yeah, but these little ones.
If you're down with a 3/8-inch post, you're probably going to break the string. And we ran into that with the cat bases. And they're putting on short scale Diodarios at the factory. And I asked them, hey, can we use other strings? And they're like, no. So, okay, cool, fine. So we're gonna have Dunlops that we will sell as replacements, and they'll probably be branded as our own string, because they're going to be made the right length for them. And then we're also going to do flat wounds with them. So.
Oh, cool.
So you'll be able to upgrade to flat wounds when you get one of these.
That's a nice point you bring up, Carey, because a lot of times, like when people talk to me at GHS and they have all these things they're going to do with, like, building a custom bass, the biggest thing they have is they'll have like a weird size, and my first thought to them is, all right, well, how are you planning to service your customers after they buy this instrument?
Right. Exactly.
You don't have a reason for that. It's like, well, this is my vision. I'm like, well,
you got to think beyond that.
I'm trying to make sure that your vision doesn't upset a lot of people that bought into it.
Right. And die on the vine because now people can't get strings. Yeah. I mean, that was a big deal with headless instruments back in the day, double ball end things. I mean, that's hard. Those are hard to find. They're a little easier to find now because of the resurgence, but yeah. Well, that's definitely a factor.
Well, the Ibanez guys, do they have an adapter at the top so you can use regular strings and just clamp it down?
It's a clamp system right now. Yeah, this one.
Yeah.
I don't even know if it has a double ball provision on it. I mean, when I made a few headless basses, it was the same as the hip shot setup. So there's a ball end on the bridge end, and then the other end is a clamp.
Yeah, but I think that's the way to go with those now, because trying to make those strings is like twice as many steps.
Totally. Yeah. They're expensive, more expensive too. So, but that's the trick. But a lot of those clamp systems, you got to be careful because they'll break the string if you over tighten them.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, that's I don't know. Does that make sense, Joe?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I was just concerned because I've probably got about 10 years worth of Elixir strings in my closet that I wanted to see if I could actually use it on it. So.
Yeah.
I mean, the one, if you do it slowly, it'll either break right away or you'll be fine.
Yeah.
So you'll be able to know right away.
Right.
I mean, I've
like
done it.
On the 32, I have Elixir strings on, and it's fine, no problem. And then
is the fat part of the B string wrapped around the post on that one? Because that might tell us.
Just barely.
Okay.
Just barely.
Okay.
It made it, but fortunately, Elixirs does make a long scale because I have my Carl Thompson's a 36-inch scale.
Oh wow!
That part doesn't even. It's like 2 or 3 inches off the tuning peg.
Right.
I'm good because I have those disgusting acid fingers that
you kill strings.
Yeah, I kill strings in 24 hours. Which is why I love Elixir strings because versus a day or two. So it's something that I know that Elixirs is very limited with their offerings, but I can get it. I guess definitely if GHS, I do like the progressives because I have a couple of sets of the 32 2-inch scale progressives. Those things are amazing. They actually last me a pretty decent amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sweating over the instrument, I'm fine. And the progressives, they last a long time. They sound great, and I personally like them. So as something, at least, because at least I have something that'll last longer than, like say the first week, because I'll go through those strings after the first week.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not a little guy
guess, yeah.
jump around in a jumpsuit wearing, with progressives night after night, and they last, and they still got brightness and zing, and I can pull out any of my basses that have progressives on it, go to the harmonics, and it'll ring for hours.
That's fun. See, I'm so not into top end right now. I'm like, I actually like dead strings. Like, I almost like, hey Joe, play these and kill them for me, and then send it back to me. I mean, that's kind of like, like it takes me a long time to kill strings. But there's a sweet point where they get broken in. Usually it's after a couple of months of me playing them, and then they just get really round sounding, and that's what I like.
Well, everything's circular. It's going to come back to like, a bright, aggressive, modern thing again. And then I'll be on top of the game.
Yeah, but I think, but Tony, you know what? I think the whole vibe of the cat bass, I'd be cool with dead strings on it because that's the whole vibe.
Yeah,
totally. That's the vibe. Yep.
Like that's something that, like, I want to run through an effects processor, different types of effects pedals, and get like that 60s, 70s feel to it, which is the thumpy, fat sound. But when I Carl Thompson, I want top end, really aggressive, growly tone.
Yeah. Does that one have
Carey
EMGs
made a
in
comment
it?
when I played the cat bass. He's like, "You play differently with that."
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody will. You will. You'll sit down and you'll start to play it. It makes you play differently because it's so much smaller and easier to play. It invites you to sort of lighten up, slow down a little bit, or maybe speed up because it's faster. I don't know. It makes people think a little differently. Yeah.
I had a chill.
Yeah. That's one of the things I love about it, actually. Yeah. And it always makes people smile. Anytime somebody sits down and plays one, they're like, they play a few notes and they look over and they have this big grin on their face. Like, what is going on here? So it's fun.
So I know Carey doesn't want to do the whole sales pitch, but if you go on to nordstrandaudio.com, basically pops up on the main page. You just click on view this bass.
Yep.
With a deposit of $300, you choose the color that you want. $4.99 plus taxes required at once the bass is in.
Right.
I highly recommend ordering it. You're getting basically a modernized, updated version of the
Goya. Yeah.
Goya.
Yep.
At a fraction of the price, and you're not going to have any issues.
Right.
Yeah, I want to add to that too. Like, I'm the opposite end of the spectrum. Everybody knows what I do. Big, bright, gnarly, this definition, and the cat bass, man, is my favorite short scale I ever played. Hands down, my favorite. Yeah, I love it. The black one at NAMM, man, I totally dug it.
I still hear, I think that's might end up being my daughter's because it's got 4 bolts instead of 3, right? When I did this, I wanted 3 bolts, and the factory decided, we'll put 4 bolts. And I was like, no, you're not putting 4 bolts. Come on, this is my thing. So they switched it back to 3 and said, we warranties. Oh, come on, 3 bolts, 2 bolts is probably plenty for the amount of tension on one of these things. But I'm gonna sweeten the sales pitch for these things. So the $7.99 price is the introductory price, and that's just to kind of get us off the ground. And it's probably going to go up to $8.99 on the second batch. The other thing is all the first 200 bases all come with a mute.
Oh, cool!
That will fit the bass. So this one's actually 19. I've got a 17 around here somewhere. But so that is included. So you get $7.99, you get a mute and the bass, and they're all going to come across Mo's bench here in the shop. And so they don't take much because that factory is actually really good. So a little bit of tweaking on the nut, maybe the frets will stick out a little bit. We'll clean that up a little bit and dial them in, and then set the truss rod, the intonation, and the action height, and out the door. So Yeah.
Oh God, I
So-
love this space.
Back to Joe's Boardwell. How about blades for that? Trying out the blades. I'm sorry, I'm circling back, but
No, it's
the
cool.
blades have a nice like low mid. They're growly.
They really work well for fretless, but what I'm kind of getting from Joe is that he wants more top end out of this thing.
Oh,
He
yeah.
wants it to sing and have an airy vibe to it.
Big rigs.
And to me, that's the big rigs. They have more air than almost anything else we make in my experience of them.
Mm-hmm.
And that bass is sort of preloaded to have a really warm, fat sound in terms of the woods and the scale length and the placement of everything. So I would tend to go, and the blades, especially the clean and clear big blades might be a good vibe. But I don't know. If you don't like the big rigs, just let me know and we'll sort you out.
Nice.
So,
Yeah, no, we're definitely gonna have to talk about that in more detail.
Cool.
But
And so, Carey, how about you said you're building?
That was my knee.
Yeah, you're going to be building some J's and P's in house, like the NJ
VJs, yeah.
J's. Sorry, yeah, cool. So those
Yeah.
are going to come through.
Yeah, I got a couple of guys I'm going to build some P basses for, and then one of the guys that got one of the last batches of my super high end, lacquer finished P basses, he wants a J bass. He emailed me right as I was starting to decide I need to do this, and I was like, hey, you good timing, dude. So
Nice.
So yeah, I'm gonna put one together for him and probably do a couple more. I'd like to have one for myself actually.
Yeah.
Just partly to see if I can lure myself away from a P bass with a J bass. So, which I doubt it, but I want to try.
PJ.
Yeah.
I started on a J.
PJ, they're weird,
way
man.
back, but I've definitely moved over to a P as I played more and gotten older.
I want to hear Keith's opinion on the P. Then tell me what's weird about them, because I recently have been all about them as an alternative if I'm playing my own bass.
PJs are a very specific flavor, and they work with a certain type of player. And usually it's the type of player that started on a PJ. So if you learned how to play on a PJ bass and you learned how to make it sound good, then I think you're more likely to have, a good experience with them. People that come to PJs later on in their playing arc, to me, typically don't really get what they want out of them. I think for me, a PJ is the most value in a PJ bass is having a P pickup and then having something in the bridge position that's like a souped up J pickup, like a big single or something, like the Ibanez stuff. Because then you can solo that pickup and really make it work. Whereas if it's just a single coil J pickup, a lot of times, you have to tweak your amp settings or your preamp settings in order to fatten it up a little bit, because they're just, or some guys have a naturally fatter sounding hand, and then it works. But a lot of guys don't. They get a thin,
Well, you get that
really
weird,
aggressive,
that
zingy.
You get that weird odd number of coils because you got three and that
Right.
cancellation.
Well, that's, to me, yeah, when you run both the pickups at the same time, that's where you start to run into potential issues in terms of odd sort of, mode cancellation situations where the scoops in the frequency are in weird places. And again, I think if you've been doing it from the beginning, you know how to deal with your amp and make it work. But it's PJ bass is, I don't know, it's usually a love it or hate it thing. So
Yeah.
Go on, Joe.
Can I say this? While I hate PJ basses, I love reverse PJ basses. So
all right.
I love a P bass pickup reverse. It's probably, if I was building my, the Joe Fazio signature series, it would be a reverse PJ pickup configuration.
Cool. Yeah.
Favorite. I love reverse P because even if you take a reverse P by itself without the J on the bridge, it's still very powerful, mid-rangey pumping sound, because where you put the when you reverse the pickups, that's typically where I play, because I like to play in the middle of the two pickups. That's kind of like my personal sweet spot, and that's where my ear is pulled. But with a P bass, even though I understand it's been on every famous track in all of history.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
This would be there.
Yep.
Yes. So switch it. That's where I play.
Right there. Yeah.
Right. That's my sweet spot. Where my ear tells me is a sweet spot. So I like them.
Yeah.
I love them reversed.
Cool.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
I will preface with that. I'm not a total hater.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. Lately I've been playing them, PJ, and my EQ is usually pretty flat. I just go. I'm not even a tone tweaker. I don't even change my knobs.
Yeah.
It's just really for like the room. And now I've been using one or two DIs, the Ready or now the Rupert Neve DI. I'm an artist for Rupert Neve now, so it's like, I'm pretty happy with just how it is. And I don't favor one pickup to the other. They're both on, boom, go.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the kind of thing that either works or doesn't for most people. There's not much in between. Like, yeah, it's pretty good, but no, it's I love it or so at least that's been my experience of it, which I certainly wouldn't say is anywhere near reference. But
I freaking love it, and it depends on the builder too. And I think the one builder that definitely hit it out of the park is Pat Wilkins with his just from him moving it up. There's something about that. Obviously, Devon with that bass with the two. You got to have some robustness, and you got to, I don't know. And yeah, Pat makes a mean ass PJ, man. I love it. That's my opinion. I don't know.
Cool. Right on.
And Pat's basses are standard regular P.
Yeah, he doesn't like the reverse P, actually. We just talked to Pat the other day. He's like, he likes it in the studio, but he feels like it loses low end live. But I'm with you, Joe. I kind of like the reverse P. Yeah. Where my pickup is and my signature, the big single is, it's pulled back kind of around the position of where like a reverse P would be. Right. That back coil would be. And I like it. Tighter in the low end is okay with me.
Yes, yeah, I agree with that.
The way you play tends to put a lot of bottom end into the sound, just the way you hit the string with your right hand. And I think, that's part of the reason more focus works so well for you, is that your natural sound has a lot of bottom in it. So.
See, Steve, that top P pick is basically where I like it. So that
no, that's regular P position.
Is it? It looks like it's farther back.
It's because this is pushed way to the front.
Pat does something weird, man. Pat takes the J pickup and goes, whoop, let me scooch it up close to the,
And that's a dual coil. That's a hum canceling.
Okay. Right.
Nordstrand. All Nord. Yeah. Cool. This is the money base, man.
So that's a split J pickup, yeah.
Yep. Yeah, it's split J and then the MP5, right? MP5?
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, it needs to be up farther. He just got it right.
Did you guys see Power Blade 5 is coming down the line? Finally?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
The P. Power Blade P5.
Yep.
Woo!
Finally. What a pain in the ass that is. Well, so here's what happened. Most 5-string P builders in the boutique market, when they started making 5-string Ps, they just took a 4-string cover arrangement and put 5 sets of pole pieces in there. The Duncan pickups like that. I don't know who else makes them, but and then Fender comes along and goes, oh well, we're Fender, we do what we want to do, and so they make one that has a longer cover on the 3-string coil, and then they got a 4-string size cover for the 2-string coil. Which is like, okay, what? Why? And then other companies are going, well, we're going to use both the longer covers that Fender's doing now. So it's like, so I've got to come up with 3 different iterations of this pickup, and they all got to sound great and work great. And so I got to make blades, and I'm trying to figure out if I can make one set of blades that's going to work on all 3 versions of the pickup, and of course, no, you can't. So that's what's been the hang up on that pickup is just sorting out how to make each iteration of these things work the best it can, and dealing with the fact that, well, we're going to probably need 4 or 5 different size blades for these things. And there's expense involved in prototyping and getting samples made and getting things chromed, and we got to do minimum quantities when we order blades. And so, it's been this pain that we've just not dealt with until we're starting to get it actually sorted out right now. My butterscotch 5-string VP5, I have the new blade 5-string P pickup. So,
I saw a picture of that.
It sounded great at the shop when I checked it out yesterday, and so I brought it home, and I'm going to run it through its paces in my recording stuff and just see how it compares. And if it's thumbs up, we'll refine it a little bit and start making them, and then we'll move on to one of the other iterations, probably the fender sized one. So yeah,
that 5-string P is one of the best 5-string Ps ever, dude.
That bass is killer. Yeah. I feel sad that I don't really care to play 5 strings anymore. So,
but still, it will come back and you will play it. That is one of that.
Oh, I'll use it. I mean, if I have the right tune that I'm working on or something, and I need a low B, yeah.
It's so good, man.
Yeah, it's a speech. Yeah.
Love that bass. And then let's talk about the. Hold on a second. These, I have them in a bass.
The J blades. Yeah.
J blades.
Yep.
Those are fantastic.
Is that a G&L? Yeah.
That's a G&L. Yeah, I just dropped it like a tribute.
Cool.
Tribute G&L, but that's I like these.
Ooh.
Always love the G&L bridges.
Yeah.
Very exotic ash wood body, which Fender's going to stop doing in their production instruments now.
Mm-hmm.
I know. I saw that.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm happy about that. That means there'll be more ash for the rest of us.
There's ash for everybody. Ash is available.
Yeah.
It's available.
I've got this ash supplier down, and they actually supply Fender a ton of ash. And the last time I bought wood, I went down there and sorted through stacks. But I mean, this place was the size of a football field almost, and it was full of friggin' pallets of wood. It was not a football field, maybe a half a football field. It was huge. So much wood in there, and I was like, oh my God. And it's stacked like pallets that are like 20 feet high, stacked wood just up to the ceiling in there. But they had like 2 pounds per board foot ash there, which is absurdly light. And I don't like to go too light, but they actually had a couple of 1-piece bodies in there, blanks in there that I grabbed. So I've got some really fun lightweight ash, and also 1-piece alder. I actually managed to find a couple of 1-piece alder blanks that are super light, which that's like gold. Finding alder that's lightweight and 1-piece, that's crazy.
Well, that worked on me. I got nervous and said, Warmouth, let me order a body right now.
Well, I think the rest of us will be able to get it for a while. It's just going to get more expensive, especially the light stuff. Nobody wants heavy ash hardly anymore, but except for a few guys, few weirdos here and there, like the heavy ash.
the 70s jazz bass, 70s Fender club. The heavy.
Yeah, there's a thing there. Juan Aldretti loves the heavy stuff too, man. He's always about bass is too light. It won't sound good.
Compression to the root of the note. Function of the note in a heavy Northern Ash instrument has announced it back. Now I know we're talking about shades of gray.
Yeah,
I hear it.
It's pretty obvious. I think it's pretty obvious when you get heavier woods in an instrument. It definitely gets a brighter, quicker, kind of more wider, hi-fi kind of a vibe to it.
I don't want anything too light. I don't like anything too light.
Yeah.
I'll take heavier over light any day.
Well, that's the fun thing about these cat basses is they're averaging around 6.5 pounds.
Wow.
So they're nice and light. Yeah.
What's the body wood on these? On the
they're alder. The cats are alder. Yeah. Nice. Yeah. An Indian rosewood board. Right around when the rosewood thing happened last year.
Mm-hmm.
That was a nightmare for Ibanez. It really cut into their business and our business as a result.
Nightmare for everybody, dude.
Yeah. So I was going to go with Palfero at that point. And then once they cleared up that on you know, farm raised Indian rosewood is okay for musical instruments, I was like, okay, boom, I'm back on that. So that's where I want to go. So yeah.
We Caribbean rosewood started using that, and that's a decent alternative. Looks good.
Huh.
Sounds, yeah.
Interesting. I'm not familiar with that one.
Yeah, I'll bring some stuff out and have you play with it. It's rosewood. It's right there.
Yeah.
It works. It's right now I can't think of the name, but Caribbean rosewood. Anyways, I'll think of it in a second.
Why rosewood over Power Pharaoh? Curious.
I like the color of it, actually. Pal Pharaoh tends to have a kind of a goldish vibe to it. And I also like the traditional nature of Indian rosewood as opposed to Pal Pharaoh. Even though Pal Pharaoh has been around a long time, a lot of instruments have it on there. I just like that the Indian rosewood feels more it feels more correct to me.
Yeah.
So
Pal Pharaoh is also slightly bit warmer.
Pal Pharaoh, I like to characterize as having a buttery sound. Like a throaty kind of fatness in bloom. Whereas I think Indians got a little more round and balanced. I don't know.
And I think
there's so many other. Well, go ahead.
I think aesthetically, rosewood looks a lot nicer on a fingerboard.
It looks more the part for these basses. Right. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. I had a 70s throwback custom shop Fender Jazz with Power Pharaoh, and that's the one thing I didn't like. I miss the aesthetics of the rosewood fingerboard because the white with the red tortoiseshell and the block inlays that I think if it was rosewood or even like ebony, you know, like I love ebony fingerboards also. Ebony or maple are probably two of my favorite, but you know, if I can't have either of those, definitely rosewood.
As a builder, I loathe ebony.
Yeah, no, I know.
It's a nightmare. You just can't find ebony anymore that doesn't move around like a friggin', you know, can't come up with an analogy, but it's just, it's so, I mean, basses that have been around for 10 or 15 years, you know, when the humidity changes, they'll just, your necks are just moving all over the place, and you can still get fret sprout in them. So ebony's just not, it's a challenge. So I mean, I have some, but I'm letting it sit on the shelf for a long time so it can hopefully get seasoned properly and then be less problematic. Favorite. Yeah,
ebony is so bright. I love it.
It's a challenge, man. For me, I'm not a fan. But
Carey, that Caribbean rosewood is also, it's Chechen.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know Chechen. Yeah. Okay. Sounds fancier. Yeah,
Michael Tobias used it with his collaboration with the Modulus thing.
Okay.
Boards and a lot of people. So Chechen's good. That was our G&L's alternative, and it took off, and it looks really nice. And and then now we're back to some rosewood, but we're using Chechen a lot.
Cool.
Good.
Yeah.
Anyways,
right on.
Yeah.
Good deal.
Yeah.
Which is beautiful.
John, you have a visitor again.
I know she's an attention whore.
Aren't we all? Yeah, aren't we all? Carey, so then builder, so Ibanez, anybody else, builders and manufacturers using your pickups? You got new people?
Well, we're doing the Strandberg stuff, which is cool. We're going to be doing all the Sadowski stuff, except for the stuff that's made in China now under the new licensing arrangement with Warwick. As a matter of fact, we have a huge order we're just wrapping up to send over to Germany for their first run. Nice. I mean, you know, we sell pickups to pretty much everybody. ESP gets stuff from us. I mean, there are a few exceptions. Lull uses a lot of our stuff. Yeah, a lot of the builders, you know, Bort Cliff uses them. Devon uses them. You know, it's interesting to me how different the high-end builder landscape is now from how it was even 5 years ago or 10 years ago. So there's a lot less people doing it. You know, there was a time when I came up when it seemed like there was a base builder everywhere. Like there was just tons of us getting off the ground and getting going. But yeah, it's very difficult. Yes, very, very difficult. You know, I watch a lot of guys at this point, you know, having done this for 17 years, which, where did the time go? But you know, you see new guys come on the scene and you know, they're all excited and they're going to do all this and that and the other thing. And then, you know that couple 3 years they're likely to not be around and not doing it anymore, but there are guys that manage to figure it out and make their way, but it's such a hard thing to do. I never made money on bases ever until probably 3, 4, 5 years ago, and that's the only reason I make money on bases now is because I'm the only one that does the work on them. Whenever I had somebody working for me and I was trying to get up to production speed, it never was profitable. But if it's just me and I do all the woodworking and then I have Genius Mo assemble them and do the build, then it works. So it's worth my time. So.
I think you have to have the right formula, and I think one of the like Devon Smolin is one of the guys that's really doing it right. You know, it's pretty impressive the way that he's doing it and keeping above water and not getting himself into, you know, I mean, he's just doing it right.
I mean, to be honest, when he started to come on the scene more aggressively, I was like, we'll see where this goes. But he's done a great job. I mean, he's got sharp marketing. Yes. His instruments are very intelligently done. He's figured out that if you put really nice woods on instruments, people buy them. Alfer, I mean, look at Alfer. That's another guy that uses a lot of our stuff, and I mean, man, just go out and find the most gorgeous wood you can find, spend the money on it, and then build really nice instruments out of it. Yeah. And you'll sell them. And you'll get better money because of it.
Carey, I have something I have to say. I remember I first saw your NJ5HLs. Do you remember those bases? Yep. I remember Stu did 2 demos there was a gray base and like a natural base.
Yeah.
And I remember just from those demos, those were probably 2 of the sweetest sounding basses I've ever heard in my life.
Cool.
You got to bring those back, man. And they were
I actually have to build one. A local guy talked me into making one for him, so I have to build one. As far as bringing him back goes, I don't know how that works at this point in my career, because I'm not going to make anything production anymore. It's going to be, I'm just going to build what gets me excited, and and then, you know, special things for friends here and there, you know, that like this headless I'm going to build for this guy. So but I mean, there may be a point where I want to revisit the headless design and sort of tweak some things and do some other stuff. But once I get this CNC sorted out again, I think I'll have a lot more creative potential and ability to kind of realize what what shows up in my brain. So,
yeah, the one I liked was that the darker one with the Wenge fingerboard and neck.
Yeah.
That's my favorite. My favorite neck combination is Wenge on Wenges.
I love the Wenge too. I did a deal with Mike Tobias where we each built each other a bass.
Yes, I remember
and traded that several years ago. And the only thing I said that I absolutely got to have is I got to have a Wenge neck, an all Wenge neck, and whatever else you want to do, you do it. And so I got my Wenge neck, and it's I don't play that bass much. It's too big for me. It's a 35-inch scale.
I'll take it.
I have a well, let's talk. No, I can't sell that bass. That was part of a very special situation.
No. I know.
But I tell you what, that I have a silver MTD Saratoga that has J blades in it and our preamp, and that is probably my favorite 5-string J bass that's
maple
around
neck
right now. It's a maple neck, and it has a fingerboard on it that's made out of some synthetic wood. Like it was going to be an Indian rosewood substitute. I forget what he called it. He did say that when they machined it, it stunk so bad they decided they were never going to use it again, no matter how good it worked. But that bass crushes.
I played that bass. That bass is killer.
It's ridiculous. Killer. Yeah, I love that thing. So I managed to hang on to that one too. thanks to their generosity. So
I remember I had a 1997 Warwick Pro-Am with a Wenge neck and fingerboard, and the 11 years that I had it, I don't think I ever got it set up once. That's how still the neck stayed, and it always played like. I mean, you could put that neck between two chairs, stand on it, put it down on it, and it'd still be razor straight. And
yeah, that stuff's wicked stiff. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So it's probably, in my opinion, it's my personal favorite neck wood.
I think it's fantastic. It's probably my second favorite neck wood, behind this quarter sawn maple that I found from my wood supplier. Which is just one piece quarter sawn maple neck to me is where it's at. But I do like the Brazilian rosewood too. I still have some left, so I'm working my way through that. But
Nice.
that's part of why I can get really good, crazy prices for some of my bases. But yeah, Wenge is awesome. The thing is, the Wenge you can get now is not what it was back when those Warwicks were being made, and it tends to move around. It's way more reactive to humidity changes. But I was first drawn to Wenge on an old thumb bass, like a late '90s, mid '90s Warwick thumb bass, and I was like, "What is this?" Yeah, yep. Yeah. Or a Dolphin or whatever. Yeah.
I think Howard has a Dolphin, an old Dolphin.
Yep.
I think Howard, yeah.
But those '90s production run Warwicks are some of the best basses that they ever built, and they were cheap. When you think about it, they were like $1,500 for a German.
Back then, yeah.
Yep. I remember going into my local music store because when I was like 18 years old, I didn't have $2,000. Put down $100. Going in with $100 a week. And just paying it off slowly and surely. And getting like this incredible bass that I kick myself in the butt every time I sell it. They're probably worth $5,000 now.
Yeah, the old ones. Yeah, the old German ones are worth money. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. That is what it is, right?
Yeah, I guess. Can never have enough bases, right?
Yeah, correct. I like that. I like that statement.
I mean, we're always, exploring and searching for new stuff, but I don't know. Sometimes I think if I had just grabbed a P bass when I started, I probably would have never started building instruments. Just, oh, no, okay, that's fine. I'm good. But
nice.
Well, guys, want to wrap things up here? This was a good one.
Sure.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah. I got to figure out some dinner over here. My lady's starting to send me text messages of food. So
I have to say, John, I love the stash. That is killer.
Thank you.
I dig it, man.
I think
very handsome.
Yeah, everybody's been giving me like mad compliments for it. So
dig it.
It'll be interesting when I walk back into work on Monday because I haven't been into the office since mid-March. And
wow.
Yeah, the boss is definitely going to say something. So
it's very late '70s porn-like. I think it's.
I was before Magnum PI.
Magnum PI.
Yeah, Magnum PI. That's what you want to run with. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You see the short shorts now too.
Well, of course I have.
OP shorts.
Yeah.
Yes. So John, on Monday you gotta go like super clean everything and just have that mustache just like thick. But everything else...
see, because then that looks like I should have a white van or something to drive around.
A van with a
red Ferrari.
And a leisure suit. Yeah, totally.
Ooh, if I had I'd walk in with a leisure suit on. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Right on.
Not many people could pull it off.
Oh man, that'd be great.
Oh man, for me personally, it's just I love seeing your guys' faces, man. It's like this whole like quarantine is bullshit.
Yeah,
man. It's like the human interaction is like, I need it, and it's just great to see you guys. I'm glad
Massachusetts has a stay-at-home order to the 18th. And, I can handle that.
Yeah.
I don't know
ours is still
past that.
Yeah.
The 15th or so, but they're slowly phasing stuff in over the next couple of weeks.
Yeah. Yeah, we've been lucky to stay open, and I get to go and work in the wood shop whenever I want, pretty much, because there's nobody around. I can be in there by myself, so that's easy. But I don't know. I've been hanging out at home a lot. and laying low, but starting to get things sorted out and kind of get back up to speed personally. So yeah, we'll see how the next couple of months go. Hopefully it comes together for everybody and we can come out of this a little bit, but we'll see.
We'll stay safe and healthy.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Joe, what's for Jersey? What's the stay-at-home to? I think it's probably the same, 18th.
It's probably the same, but they opened up golf courses as of Saturday, so I'm quite happy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh God, you don't even know.
The
You don't
beaches
even
are
know.
still closed. Damn it.
I don't care about the beaches. I could go play golf. I have my own beach. I hate the beach on golf courses.
Stay out of the beach on golf courses. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we can golf as of Saturday. I'm going to give it some time. You know, I'm not going golfing on Sunday. I think one of the crappiest courses in the area is sold out in like 5 minutes.
Wow.
The governor really said it was like they were opening as of Saturday. I went on just to see like, what golf courses were allowing, people to come on. And I closed out the browser, opened it back up, it was sold out.
Wow.
So I'm like,
People
I'm not
are hungry
going
for it, man.
Yeah, it's gonna be crazy. I'll give it a couple of days. When everybody's working, I'll go.
There you go. Yeah.
There you go.
That's the ticket.
Well, hey,
You know.
Carey, what social, the website, the webpage, nordstrandaudio.com, correct?
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. That's us. It's pretty much the only place now. And then, if you're at all interested in hearing what I do musically, there's material out there that I've released here and there on my SoundCloud page. But there was a pretty fun collaboration jam I did on
Johnny.
Instagram. There was one with Johnny, and there was another one with Steve Pruitt and Joseph Yoon, and that one was a blast. I used this cat bass on that one, and that turned out super good. But yeah, probably try to keep doing some of that stuff here and there. I'm going to start doing my own, everything, program everything beat wise, and maybe record some things, and then guitar and bass and keys and show off the instrument as well as I can that way. So yeah.
Nice.
That's cool.
Exciting. Cool.
Right on. Hey guys, this has been fun. Appreciate it. And
Always a pleasure, bro. Always.
yep.
Love you
Thanks.
guys. You guys are the best. Seriously.
Yeah,
Likewise.
thanks for coming
All right.
on, man.
I'll be looking for that order to come through, Joe.
We stop the recording. Let's hang on for a minute, okay, guys?
Yeah, let's stop the recording, hang out. And Carey, we're going to talk about some stuff too.
Okay. Yep.
Hold on, I'm stopping it.